Our actions are creating a character that will stand tall. We must remain true to what we stand for and the best of who we are each and every day. That is real power.
Score the goal, baby, like the land. I'm talking to the back. This ain't just a knockout, boy. I knock him on his back. Whoa! Never throwing the towel, never throwing the towel, never throwing the towel.
Never. The near post, they score! Waits to the forehand, great save.
Unified, different class, that's champion talk. Whoa! Never throwing the towel, never throwing the towel, never throwing the towel, never.
It's time for Monsters Hockey!
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Monsters OT, presented by University Hospital Sports Medicine here on Sports Time, Ohio. Tony Brown here with you, and you might notice it's a little bit of a different setting today. We're actually here at Halloran Park, where the Monsters are putting the finishing touches on their Monsters Community Foundation Legacy Project. It's really sight to behold, so we'll get to that in just a little while. But as always, time to start our show with headlines presented by Anthem. With the AHL back to business, we thought with headlines this time around, we'd dissect the Monsters' season opening roster. And how we're going to do that is by breaking up the team into three different sections of players. We'll start with key returners, and those start with our captains for this year, announced recently by Monsters head coach Mike Eaves. We know that Zach Dalpe will be wearing the captaincy for the second straight year for Cleveland, and his assistants will be the lone returning defenseman for the Monsters this year, Dylan Simpson, and Justin Scott, who in his fifth year with the Monsters has been rewarded by wearing that A on his chest this year. Those key returning players also feature guys like Nathan Gerbe, who's back with the Monsters for the moment on loan from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Trey Fix-Wolansky tied for the team lead in goals last year. He's back, as is Cole Sherwood, a Columbus native, a fan favorite here in the great state of Ohio. Speaking of fan favorites, Brett Gallant is back in a Cleveland uniform this year. Also, Ryan McInnes assigned to Cleveland out of the gate. And let's not forget about the goaltenders. They are both so critically important for Cleveland. On the roster right now, you've got both Veini Vehviläinen, who was super impressive in his first year of North American pro hockey last season, and Brad Thiessen, who is not only a player but also the team's goaltending coach and one of the most beloved Monsters on the roster this year. The second group of players we want to talk about are guys we're calling experienced newcomers. These are players that have competed at the AHL level for other organizations, but now are in Cleveland for the first time. In the defensive core, let's talk about Gavin Bayreuther. He's had some great years with the Texas Stars in the AHL and played some games for the Dallas Stars in the NHL too. He'll be with the Monsters to start the season. Evan Polai, a guy who is in the forward group but on loan from NHL St. Louis. He'll be contributing for the Monsters this year. A couple other experienced players that are going to help the Monsters out up front are Tyler Sekura and Adam Haluka, a couple of offensive-minded guys. We've talked about Sekura and his leadership role with the Rockford IceHogs in recent seasons, but both of those players know how to create offense, and hopefully they'll be doing that for the Monsters this season. Other players in this category include Nick Lappin, who is coming over from the New Jersey organization. He actually competed in the NHL for the Devils a little bit and then had a lot of experience in the AHL with the Binghamton Devils and the other iterations of New Jersey's farm club over the years. Cliff Pu is a forward that is joining the Monsters and the Blue Jackets organization via trade. He was traded in the offseason for Marcus Nutavara by the Florida Panthers to Columbus, and now has been assigned to Cleveland, where he'll compete to start the season. And also an experienced blue liner, also who has some time under his belt with Springfield in the AHL. Thomas Šemić will help anchor things with Simpson and Bayreuther on what will be a pretty young Monsters blue line this season. All right, now let's talk about the whole host of rookie players on the Monsters roster this year. Let's start with Tyler Angle. He's a highly touted scorer out of the OHL's Windsor Spitfires who wouldn't normally have the opportunity to play in the American Hockey League at this point in his career, but because of these pandemic-related loosening of certain restrictions personnel-wise, he's here, and so hopefully the Monsters will see him contribute a lot of offense this year. Other rookie skaters to keep your eye on: Zach Jordan, a power forward out of the University of Nebraska, Omaha, joining the Monsters on an AHL contract. Luke Moncada, a young centerman out of the OHL ranks. He's with the Monsters on an amateur tryout this year. On the defensive, in the defensive court, Jake Christensen is a puck-moving defenseman of the highest caliber out of the Western Hockey League. He signed with Columbus and has been assigned to Cleveland, so excited to see him compete and create this year. Also, Carson Meyer, a former Ohio State Buckeye and a Columbus area native. He is with the Monsters this season. I know a lot of Ohio hockey fans are excited about that. On the blue line again, we'll talk about three more defensemen joining the Monsters for their first pro action. Brandon Fortunato is with Cleveland on loan from the NHL's Nashville Predators. Also with the Monsters, Connor McDonald out of the ECHL ranks on a PTO. Wyatt Newpower joins the club on an AHL deal out of the University of Connecticut. And Matthew Struthers is a talented young centerman out of the OHL and the North Bay Battalion. All of those guys, rookies for the Monsters this year. That's a pretty comprehensive look at the Monsters season opening roster, and those are your headlines presented by Anthem. We've got plenty more Monsters OT presented by University Hospital Sports Medicine coming your way next, so stay with us on Sports Time Ohio.
Focus. Dedication. A passion for the game. All of these.
Hey, what are you doing in here?
All right, well, you don't have to be a pro to dress like one. Get what the pros wear and all your Monsters gear at the Team Shop or online at monstersteamshop.com.
At University Hospitals, our sports medicine experts bring science and compassion together to develop personalized care plans for athletes at every level, from Pee-wee to pro. The same experts who care for the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Monsters, and the Cleveland Ballet keep our local athletes performing at their best. Schedule an appointment at uhsports.org. University Hospitals, the science of health, the art of compassion.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a wife and a mom to two sweet girls. I see the people of our community every day. They have questions, and honestly, they're concerned about their health and medications. So they come to Drug Mart Pharmacy just like their parents did, because they know we will always help them, whatever they need, whatever questions they have. My fellow pharmacists and I are proud and truly humbled that you have put your trust in us during this challenging time. Discount Drug Mart is here for you, always.
Rolling.
Me again. Well, isn't this a coinky dink? Says here, Musselman's uses 100% American-grown apples. Where'd they get that idea? Look at that, an American-grown apple tree. Fessed up, Musselman's. You swiped my homemade recipe. Soon the whole world will know it.
Be careful with that sparkler.
Musselman's applesauce. You'll think it's homemade too.
Back on Monsters OT, presented by University Hospital Sports Medicine on Sports Time Ohio. Tony Brown back with you. Time now for our marathon interview, and we're going to change things up a little bit this time around. Time for a little bit of a checkup with Monsters team physician Dr. Ben Boswell of University Hospitals. He's a sports medicine specialist at UH, and he's also, in addition to being the Monsters head team physician, he's an assistant team physician with the Cleveland Browns. Dr. Boswell, it is great to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
All right, we know that COVID-19 is on everybody's mind right now, so let's start with vaccines. If you could, just give us a sense of where we are, where we're headed, and how the process is playing out.
Sure, it's a great question, certainly at the top of all of our thoughts and concerns. So currently in Ohio, it's, as things develop, we're getting more numbers, but Most currently, at this point, we've vaccinated 1.6% of the Ohio population. And when I say vaccinated, I mean fully vaccinated, so they have received both doses of the vaccine. At this point, we have vaccinated 7.3% of the population with their first dose. So we're moving, but we still got a long way to go.
Okay, Dr. Boswell, we've heard a lot about all these different variants of COVID-19 that are going on all over the world and now showing up here in the United States. What are the most important things each of us should know about these variants and how to protect ourselves and our families?
It's kind of a moving target, and we've been kind of hearing through the medical field, through social media about these new variants. What we think, and I say think because we don't know for certain. As like I said, it's a moving target, but there are the new variants that are coming out. We believe that our vaccines are somewhat protective against these new variants, but again, there's a lot of uncertainty. But what we're hoping, and I do know that Moderna is also working on a potential booster to help out with these different variants. But we're going to learn more as time goes on and as these develop.
Okay, let's talk about masks. We've all heard a lot of different chatter lately. Double masking, is that the way to go? What's a KN95 as opposed to an N95? What are the best strategies? What can you give us in terms of the latest guidance on how to stay safe and how to properly utilize masks?
So, the most important thing is certainly social distancing and masking. As of now, or with the different types of masks, the K95, N95 are certainly the most protective. Those are then followed by the surgical masks. And with the surgical masks, at least in the healthcare field, there is now generally mandated that we wear at least a surgical mask in all patient care settings. And that's because the surgical mask works better than a cloth mask. So, and then the question becomes, well, is one cloth mask better than double cloth mask? Certainly, if you more material is better. So if you can use a double cloth mask, that'll be preferable. But for the general population, general exposures, the best thing to do is surgical mask or an N95 or K95 mask.
Well, with hockey returning in both the NHL and the AHL, staying safe while playing sports is on the front of everyone's mind, especially if you've got a kid who's playing youth sports. So when you're in those settings, what are the most important things to keep in mind to maintain everybody's safety?
So the biggest thing is, again, kind of what we talked about since the very beginning is the most important thing is social distancing. Social distancing, masking, whenever you can, even during participation in many sports. Certainly there's times where you can't wear a mask when you're participating, but during those times you do your best. Frequent hand washing, you can use alcohol hand wash. With the alcohol hand wash, you want it to be at least 60% alcohol to kill the potential virus. And just trying to stay clean and stay healthy. And that's the biggest thing. And if you watch the professional sports and, you watch the college sports, they're all masking whenever possible. And they're all doing their best to keep social distancing, so at least 6 feet apart when possible. And we generally try to keep that rule. And that's probably the safest thing for everybody. Another part of it too is if you're not feeling well, you gotta be honest with yourself, and you gotta keep an eye on yourself and in order to keep those safe around you. So if you're not feeling well, certainly you should not participate, and certainly you should seek medical care if you're not feeling well.
Well, Dr. Boswell, thank you so much for all this amazing information you're providing us today. I did want to ask before we go about the relationship between the Monsters and University Hospital Sports Medicine. Of course, it's a great relationship in terms of the organizations. It's a great relationship with you. But what can you tell us about how UH and the Monsters work together and what you've really enjoyed about being the Monsters team physician?
So, sports medicine is a great field. And one of the biggest things I enjoy about that is having your patients and your athletes and seeing them be successful. It's very hard when they're ill or have an injury. It's hard on them. It's hard on their life. It's hard on everything. And it's really nice. And one of the most enjoyable parts is being part of the help and getting them back to their sport and see them be successful. And University Hospitals has certainly made that much easier for me and for those of us working with the team, because we have so many resources at University Hospitals. We're an academic tertiary trauma center. So, we have resources, we have a large care team. So, and it's not just us who spend most of the time with the team. There's a lot of other behind the scenes providers and staff to give them all the care they need. And that's one of the nicest things working here at University Hospitals and with the Monsters is they've really made it. University Hospitals has made it very easy to take good care of the Monsters, and I really appreciate it. It's been a really good experience so far.
Well, Dr. Boswell, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for all you do for the Monsters year in, year out, but especially for taking the time to be with us today here on Monsters OT.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, that is Monsters team physician Dr. Ben Boswell from University Hospitals. With that, time for another break. When we come back, we'll take a look at a pretty cool project the Monsters have been working on out at Halloran Park, and of course, get you set with Monster Memories presented by HDS Brand Solutions. That's coming up next on Monsters OT, only on Sports Time Ohio. The AHL is officially back, and the Monsters opened their season recently against the Rochester Americans and Grand Rapids Griffins at home. Let's check out some of the highlights. Monsters in their black uniforms, skating from right to left. Nice feet ahead, Kirby, a breakaway for Cleveland, fires, and he scores! Now high slot, Dalby loads the gun, fires, he scores! Power play goal for Zach Dalby. The captain makes it 2-0 Cleveland, and for Zach, his 20th power play goal. Now the Monsters have to watch too many men here. They're back off, and then a shot in transition. The Amberks have scored, and the lead belongs to Rochester again for the second time. Down the wall, offensive zone, finds Simpson, loads, fires, he scores! Dylan Simpson with a clap from the slot. Who found him? Simpson did the rest, and we're tied 3-3 late in the middle frame. There with Samuelson. Oh, but back inside the Monsters D zone. We've got a fight. It's Delpy dropping the gloves with Dalton Smith, and this is a good one. Big roundhouse rights traded, and down they go. 2 seconds and 1, and that'll do it. Horn sounds, and the game is over. Your final score tonight: the Rochester Americans 7 and the Cleveland Monsters 3. As the puck is down at center, we're quickly underway in the first period of this one. Now an opportunity as a shot from the left circle in transition, denied by Thiessen. It's high slot back. Svechnikov near side. The shot blocked by Christensen. That stung him. Point spins back towards the line. Now center blue, one-timer for Beirut. Their Nagel never saw it. Went off a body, took a turn, then hit the left post. Delpy hits Fix-Wolanski in stride, right circle, fires, and he scores! Off the far post and in for Trey Fix-Wolanski. It's a power play goal. The horn sounds and the game is over. The Grand Rapids Griffins prevail by a final score of 3-1. Late empty netter from Dominic Turgeon was the icing on the cake for the Griffins, who capture their first win of the year. Welcome back, everyone, to Monsters OT, presented by University Hospital Sports Medicine, only here on Sports Time Ohio. Tony Brown back with you. Just want to remind you guys that Monsters Hockey Club season memberships for the 2021-2022 season are on sale now, and there is a whole lot to like about becoming a Monsters Hockey Club member. You'll get your favorite season ticket location. You will also get a free jersey, free games this year, and our flexible payment plans make it easy to become a member of the Monsters Hockey Club. Just visit us online at clevelandmonsters.com or call 216-420-0000 for more information today. Well, you might be wondering just where exactly we are today. We're actually inside what the Monsters Community Foundation is calling a legacy project here at Halloran Park. We're taking an old storage room, we're actually in it right now, and giving it a monster makeover. There's going to be all kinds of cool stuff. We'll have laptops for schoolwork, gaming consoles, an awesome bubble hockey machine, TVs, and everything else. We're truly turning this storage room into a learning and recreation center. It's going to be absolutely fantastic once it is all the way done. You know, Halloran Park is home to the Halloran Huskies hockey program. It's the only city rink in Cleveland. They provide free hockey and skating programs. They also provide a number of community services, mentoring programs, art classes, plenty more. It's an amazing organization, an amazing place. We hope made even more amazing by the Monsters' presence here and all the hard work that has gone into this great project, including $33,000, all from donations courtesy of the Monsters Community Foundation. It's great to be a part of and great to showcase this amazing place right here on Monsters OT, presented by University Hospital Sports Medicine on Sports Time Ohio. Stick around. Up next, it's Monsters Memories, presented by HDS Brand Solutions.
At university hospitals, our sports medicine experts bring science and compassion together to develop personalized care plans for athletes at every level, from Pee-wee to pro. The same experts who care for the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Monsters, and the Cleveland Ballet keep our local athletes performing at their best. Schedule an appointment at uhsports.org. University Hospitals, the science of health, the art of compassion.
Focus, dedication, a passion for the game. All of these.
Hey, what are you doing in here?
All right, well, you don't have to be a pro to dress like one. Get what the pros wear and all your Monsters gear at the team shop or online at monstersteamshop.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Monsters OT, presented by University Hospital Sports Medicine here on Sports Time Ohio. Well, as you can tell, we're inside the Power Portal, one of the most distinctive features at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. And based on the graphics, I think you have an idea what direction we're going for this edition of Monsters Memories, presented by HDS Brand Solutions. No, we're not flashing back to Gund Arena and the IHL in the mid-90s. We're just going back to Lumberjacks Weekend, January 3rd of last year. The Monsters looking sharp in these IHL throwbacks, and they played great against the league's best team at the time, the Milwaukee Admirals, who were wearing some pretty cool throwback uniforms themselves. The Monsters got the job done in front of 12,600 fans in a 3-2 overtime win. Stefan Matteau led the way with a Gordie Howe hat trick and this overtime winner.
Edmonton native Fix Wolanski across the line, trying to win it into the slot, fired Matteau, he scores! Matteau's third point of the night, wins it in overtime for Cleveland. A 3-2 final, and the Monsters take down the AHL's top team.
Well, that'll do it for another edition of Monsters OT here on Sports Time Ohio. We thought this time around we'd sign off, why not, from inside Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, where we are just a couple of short hours away from the Cleveland Monsters' return to the ice here in downtown Cleveland with the first game of the 2020-21 season. This episode, there are tons of thank yous to hand out. First and foremost to Dr. Ben Boswell, the Monsters team physician from University Hospitals and University Hospital Sports Medicine. Thanks to him for taking a few minutes. To our great sponsors, Anthem, Marathon, HDS Brand Solutions, and of course, University Hospital Sports Medicine, we say thank you. Thanks as well to Halloran Park for hosting part of our shoot this time around. Awesome to see the Monsters Community Foundation's new legacy project come to life inside that great facility. Thanks as well to our dynamic duo of Chris Thomas and Mark Zaremba, the entire Fieldhouse creative team, and a special thanks to Miles Holt for helping out on this episode. Until next time, I'm Tony Brown saying enjoy it, folks. Hockey is back, and it's a thing of beauty here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. This has been Monsters OT, presented by University Hospital Sports Medicine, only on Sports Time Ohio. See you next time, everybody.